It began in the Red Cat Inn, 5 miles from the hill's base. A motley crew congregated over pints of bitter and steaming bowls of stew. There was Laura Finch, local folklorist and self-professed witchfinder general on weekends. Tommy Reeves, camera-toting ghost hunter. Eleanor Nell Ward, a skeptical journalist chasing her next big story. And Jonah Briggs, a grizzled trapper who claimed he'd seen a headless huntsman galloping across the moor. As the sky deepened to indigo, Laura laid her battered map on the table. Folklore says Pendle's restless spirits gather at Witch's Chair come All Hallows Eve, she whispered. Who's brave enough to join the hunt? 8 sets of hands rose, and one of them would regret it before dawn. Armed with lanterns, EMF meters, and homemade talismans, the party set out. The footpath wound steeply, flanked by ancient walls of crumbling stone. Eleanor snapped photographs with a flash gun. I'll expose this as superstition, she murmured. Behind her, Tommy fiddled with his recorder, hoping to catch a ghostly keening. Jonah led the way, his lamp illuminating moss-cloaked rocks. Keep close, he warned. At this hour, the hill doesn't like strangers. Halfway up, they found it. The Witch's Chair, a natural throne of stone, worn smooth by centuries. Laura knelt, tracing its grooves with trembling fingers. This is where Alazan Device, accused witch, was said to have held counsel with the devil himself. She breathed. They say her spirit still sits here, summoned by moonlight. A gust of wind rattled lanterns. Nil shivered. Beautiful, but ridiculous, she whispered. Tommy's EMF meter crackled to life, a surge of energy near the chair. He trained his infrared camera on a gorse thicket. At the screen's edge, a pale shape flickered. A woman in tattered 17th century dress fleetingly stepped into view. Her eyes were hollow pits of shadow. Then gone. The group froze. Jonah spat on the ground. That's no trick of light. Sudden clip-clop echoed, hoofbeats approaching from above. They looked up to see a rider charging along the ridge, cloak billowing and no head upon his shoulders. Nell's recorder caught his final shriek, a blood-curdling howl that faded as he vanished into the gloom. Heart-pounding, Laura chanted an old prayer under her breath. He hunts eternally, she said. Beware. Panic rippled through the group. Laura insisted on staying at the chair to continue her research. The rest fanned out to circle back to the summit. Watch your backs, Jonah grunted. The hill's alive. Tommy and Nell veered into a dense stand of gorse. The bushes trembled, and soft whispers reached their ears, too indistinct to understand. Tommy switched on night vision goggles. His camera revealed dozens of faces pressed against the thorny wall, spectral forms crying out in silent agony. Nell stumbled backward, gasping. There's nothing here, she insisted, but her voice cracked. Meanwhile, Jonah crested a rise alone. His lonely lantern cast long shadows. He heard distant laughter, childlike, then twisted into a wail. He spun around, but saw only empty moorland. Suddenly, the ground beneath him shifted. Soft footprints imprinted behind him, though no one had passed. He cursed, retraced his steps, and found the prints leading uphill toward the unknown. Back at the Witch's Chair, Laura unearthed a hidden carving, a circle of runes matching those in her grandfather's grimoire. With trembling fingers, she traced the ancient words. Those who call the hunt shall join its chase. A chill ran down her spine. She closed the book. It's a trap, she breathed. A distant horn blast echoed, low, mournful, and inexorable. The sky cracked with lightning. From the darkness spilled hoofbeats, hundreds of spectral riders, their forms glowing pale blue. Jonah saw them first, an army of ghosts charging the slope, brandishing phantom spears. Run, he shouted into his radio. The 4 reunited and fled upward. The riders' howls chased them, rattling their nerves. Gorse tore their clothes. Stones gave way underfoot. Lightning forked overhead as they scrambled for the summit cairn, an ancient stack of boulders that promised sanctuary. At the summit, they formed a circle, candles lit around the cairn. Laura recited a binding spell, stolen from her grandfather's book, hoping to seal away the hunt. The horn sounded one last time. A colossal figure appeared, the headless huntsman, riding a skeletal warhorse, spear leveled at the group. Laura's voice trembled but rang true. The runes on the cairn flared with silvery light. One by one, The ghostly riders collided with an invisible barrier and shattered like mist in dawn's first rays. The headless huntsman reared, let out a final, echoing bellow, then dissolved into a swirl of leaves. Silence fell. The horn's echo faded. The first light of dawn painted them more pink and gold. The candles guttered out. They remained atop Pendle Hill in stunned quiet, alive but forever changed. Back at the Red Cat Inn, over strong coffee and shaking hands, they swore never to speak of it again. Yet in the years that followed, hikers reported strange hoof-shaped indentations in the peat. And on moonless nights, the faint echo of a horn. Pendle Hill still stands, ancient, unbowed, haunted, and the hunt remains free. Next time you wander the Lancashire moors at night, listen for the horn. If you hear it, start running.